such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. Want to encourage you, as always, to go to our webpage, for such a time as this.today, for such a time as this.today, not .com, not .org, .today. There you can always find our newest material as we continue to look at the world through a biblical lens. Want to set the scene, as always, with the scriptures. Psalm 2, verse 10. Now therefore, O kings, be wise, be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way. For his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. We are looking at governments all over the world gather to themselves unprecedented power, being very brutal in the way they deal with people. And so one of the chief minions of the globalists is a computer guy. Started in Microsoft, and now Bill Gates has expanded, and I don't know what qualifications he claims to have to be the chief spokesperson to stop diseases around the world. I didn't realize he was a virologist also, and he's not. He is engaged in some very evil stuff. So it's at a point now, Bill Gates is not even trying to hide who he is. Here he is giving an interview on The Economist, a show called The Economist, in which he's praising the totalitarian brute, the totalitarian might of the Chinese government and how they treated their citizens. Here he is right here.
In their typical, fairly authoritarian way, they did a very good job of suppressing the virus. There may have been a lot of individual rights that were violated there, but the overall macro effect that they achieved is kind of amazing. They had the benefit that it was really Hubei, 60 million people, and they brought in the health resources, 1.4 billion, and their ability to build hospitals very, very quickly and force compliance with masks and various other things. But they've kept the virus numbers to very low levels compared to most countries.
Oh boy. I think it's very clear that people, and when I mean by people, I mean the rulers, are using this pandemic to again gather power to themselves. And here you have Bill Gates praising the Chinese government for what they did in the name of safety. And then he goes on to talk about how he was, would Americans fall for this?
Do you think the fact that China went into this very strict lockdown very quickly set the tone for the way other countries responded? Because that was not really part of the epidemiological playbook before.
No, you're absolutely right. I live in infectious diseases and how you stop them. And so when we were first talking about the shutdown, I was like, wow, we're really going to do this. Are people really willing to do this?
And he goes on to talk about how, yes, they were, and yes, they did. And so toward the end of the clip that I watched here from The Economist, the question then becomes, okay, the levels of control that the Chinese were able to put on their people and other parts of the world, the level in which their governments were able to clamp down on the citizenry. Why didn't this work here, Mr. Gates?
Let's turn turn to the US because it's the country, it's the world's biggest economy, it's the preeminent public health country in the world, it's got the world's best epidemiologists. I mean, why has it done so badly?
Well, we believe in freedom.
There you go. That's why I didn't work here. That's why. Because Americans still believe in freedom. And while that is true today, I'm not even sure it's true today. Each day we continue to cede more and more freedom in the name of public safety, to the point where we're turning over our children to an experimental shot. Wow. Wow. But be not deceived. It didn't work in 2020 to the levels that China was able to exert over their citizens. No, it didn't work in 2020, but you ever heard of that term of boiling the frog? Every day, what's shocking to me and what continues to blow my mind, it seems like every day, more and more Americans are comfortable, enthusiastic, and encouraging other Americans to continue to give up their freedoms. Oh, Maranatha.
For such a time as this.